advantage is yours. Remain. Keep the pressure and you have them. You've got nothing left to prove.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good day everybody. David here, and in today's video we're going to look at the beast that is the Hawkmoon. I have done a video on this before, but I think it's time we revisited it because in the current meta, it's just ridiculously good. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly why. I'm going to cover how the Hawkmoon works, how you should use it, also showcasing how it can really work in more competitive scenarios, so some footage of trials and comp as well. And then we're going to put it head to head against the Ace of Spades, comparing the stats and where one excels compared to the other one. And just have a general deep dive on the weapon. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for those that don't know, Hawkmoon was a D1 weapon, and in Destiny 1 it had a perk where it could randomly give you extra damage bullets. If the heavens aligned, all the extra damage bullets could just happen to fall onto the same bullet and you could one-shot people, which was just ridiculous. Now in D2 it works slightly differently, a lot better in my opinion, and it is one of the few exotics that actually comes with random rolls. So the roll I've got, and the one I recommend keeping an eye out for, is Hammer Forge Rifling, Rangefinder and Combat Grip. These together make the range of this hand cannon absolutely ridiculous, and it gives it a perfectly 100 recoil direction because of Combat Grip. With Hammer Forged and Rangefinder, this makes it a max range roll as well, without losing any of the other stats. And with a targeting mod on your helmet, that boosts the aim assist up to 100 as well. So the stats for this weapon are just ridiculous. The perk for this weapon now states final blows and precision hits with Hawkmoon grant stacks of power calls of charge. If you get a damage buff that allows you to 2 head and 1 body, you'll still get 3 stacks of power calls of charge. Or if you at base kill someone with just 3 headshots, you will also get 3 stacks. The final round in the magazine deals bonus damage based on the number of stacks that you have. This can go up to ×7, but ×6 is enough to get a one-shot kill on a Guardian if it's a headshot. ×7 you can get a one-shot body shot or a one-shot headshot on any super in the game. So it's ridiculously powerful and ridiculously fun to do. Stowing Hawkmoon on the final round, however, removes that bonus, so you never want to swap the weapon out if you've got just 1 bullet left in the magazine. Where this gets absolutely ridiculous, and is one of the main driving points of this video, is the catalyst for this weapon. That increases the magazine size to 9 from 8. That extra bullet really helps with the forgiveness of this weapon with getting that buff up. It also grants increased handling, reload speed and weapon range based on the number of stacks of power calls of charge that you have. So for those that don't know, weapon range in Destiny 2 is directly tied to aim assist and how sticky your shots are over range. So if you're in an engagement with someone that's quite far out and you're using a hand cannon, the higher the range stat you have, not only will your shot do more damage and it will experience less bullet drop off and less damage drop off, but there's more chance that those bullets will actually hit where you're aiming because they'll be pulled onto target. This makes this gun ridiculously consistent. You can see in all the footage in this video just how many 3 taps I'm getting. This is by far the most consistent hand cannon on console that I've ever used, and that's not an exaggeration. This just gives you headshots. And as I said, with this roll in particular, you've got 100 aim assist if you're using a hand cannon targeting mod on your helmet. You have 100 recoil direction, so it's perfectly vertical and very easy to control. With each shot that you land, it's getting more and more range and therefore more and more stickiness, so the shots are coming even easier. this all then culminates in just getting a ridiculous super bullet that will just one-shot anyone on the battlefield. This weapon is crazy good. So let's talk about how you want to use Hawkmoon. You obviously want to land headshots to get that buff up as much as possible. However, it's key to remember that kills also proc it, so you can weaken someone with a shotgun or sniper body shot and clean up with the Hawkmoon, and you'll still get that paracausal charge. Another key thing to remember is the stacks of paracausal charge that increase your weapon range and weapon accuracy if you have the catalyst. Also stacks with other buffs in the game, so things like the knock 'em down buff on bottom tree golden gun give you the stability buff. Also stacks with the Titan rally barricade, where that now increases your weapon range as well. But all these other things stack on top of your paracausal charge, like buff. So all these things are just making the weapon ridiculous, and as I keep saying, just look at the gameplay. It's just headshot after headshot constantly, and it just feels so good to use. How I like to use it in comp and in trials is being able to get that pick with the super sharp bullet. So what I mean by this is if you're just landing headshots, not necessarily killing people, so if they're like breaking line of sight to get their health back and just playing really passively and you're just managing to get a few peak shots in every now and then, that is still building up your paracausal charge stacks. So again, that's all making your weapon more and more accurate and easier to use. But eventually you'll get that one-shot bullet, and then that's a free pick for you and your team, especially if you've already run out of sniper ammo or something like that. So this is huge, and there's a few plays in this video where I either take out all 3 members in trials from getting 2 back-to-back 3 taps on the first 2 guys and then just one-shotting the last guy. Or even gameplay where I'm against 2 titans that are just hiding behind their barricades and they keep peek shooting and I keep landing shots and then they're hiding to get their health back up, and then eventually I stack up enough bullets to get that super shot off and just get a free pick then. So if we pull up D2 Gunsmith, you can see I've put in my exact roll that I've got on my Hawkmoon. I've brought the Ace of Spades up, and you can see stat wise on paper that the Hawkmoon just trumps the Ace in every stat apart from the range where it's got +12. However, that's not including what Rangefinder gives you. So I believe Rangefinder gives you a +14. So that will put Hawkmoon up to obviously +2 to what the Ace has. In game, that won't make a difference, it'll be like the same drop off. But where the Hawkmoon shines and where it can push out that range even further is the stacks of paracausal charge. If you have the catalyst, you push that range even more. Obviously with the Ace, if you get Memento Mori, that could push the range out indirectly because you're doing more damage. But where the Hawkmoon really shines is just how consistent it is, even at those extreme ranges. With Ace, you can still be missing headshots and your time to kill can still be extended just because you're not hitting those headshots that you need to get. There still needs to be a 2-head 1-body with Memento Mori in optimum range. Obviously as that gets pushed out further, you need to hit 3 headshots to sort of compensate for that difference. The Hawkmoon, you do have to hit 3 headshots, but they come so easy, and especially as you stack more and more of those paracausal charge stacks up. The game just gives it to you. Another huge benefit that the Hawkmoon has, which the Ace sort of has, but the Hawkmoon beats it in my opinion, is the fact that you can hold on to a buff pretty much indefinitely. So obviously with Ace of Spades, once you proc Memento Mori, as long as you stay alive, that buff will stay up and you can keep chaining it from kill to kill. However, if you swap weapons, you will lose that buff. So there's times where you might need to swap to a shotgun or swap to a sniper or something to get off just like a huge amount of damage, and using the Ace you will lose that buff. Whereas with the Hawkmoon, you can build up to a ×7 stack, and as long as you've got 2 bullets left in the magazine, you can swap weapons all day long and never lose that buff, which I think is a huge advantage, especially as you get into more competitive scenarios. And like I said, you need to quickly swap to a shotgun to just keep your spree alive or to save yourself. There's no worries of losing all that work that you've put in getting your super shot ready. So for those that don't know, Rangefinder adds a +14 to the range stat. This is hidden, so it doesn't actually show up on the weapon. It also adds zoom. So some people claim they don't like this because it narrows your field of view. So you can see here, compared to the Ace and compared to a Hawkmoon without Rangefinder, you've got those little bits on the edges of your screen where your vision is slightly narrowed. However, I think the benefits of seeing targets a lot clearer over range and just the boost in range and aim assist that you get is well worth the trade-off. And even in close quarters combat, I still find it easier to hit my shots with a rangefinder weapon than with the weapon without rangefinder on. Just that extra zoom it gives you makes it so your target's bigger and just easier to land your shots. So a good special weapon or secondary weapon to pair with the Hawkmoon is anything that covers your close range. The Hawkmoon has so much range anyway, I normally don't pair this hand cannon with a sniper. I mean, you still can, obviously, you can do whatever you want, but if you want a well-rounded setup, then I opt for something like a fusion or a shotgun more, or even a sidearm or SMG. Mods-wise, you want to have hand cannon targeting. This is what puts it to like 100 aim assist and just makes it ridiculous, just so accurate. Then obviously you use your normal hand cannon loader and unflinching mods and so forth. A good tree to pair with it, my favourite tree to pair with any like precision weapon is bottom tree Goldie. As well as proccing the practice makes perfect, so you get your super back for just hitting precision hits. It's the knock and down buff that just makes it feel so good to use. So you get increased weapon stability and handling as you're getting precision kills. In terms of exotics, for the hunter, there's nothing that boosts the Hawkmoon like specifically, so you can always just go Lucky Pants. Use obviously boost hand cannons in general, make it so you get effectively opening shot for free when you swap to it. So these are fantastic. And with the new buff that they've got in the Crucible, they auto reload the hand cannon as well. So that could work in one or two ways. So you can see here, I've got Paracausal Charge 7 up with 2 bullets left in the mag. So when I swap weapons, I don't lose the buff anyway. But you'll see with the Lucky Pants, if I swap weapons, wait for that perk to kick in. See, it's went up to 4 shots, but I've still got Paracausal Charge 7 on the thing. This can be a double-edged sword because it could either help you out, so if you haven't got enough stacks, it will refill the magazine. So say if you're at 5 stacks with only 2 bullets left in the magazine, you could swap your weapons out for a bit as you run around. Then when you swap back to it, you'll have a couple more shots to make sure you get that ×7 or ×6 buff. But if you have the ×7 buff and you swap weapons to keep hold of it, and then in a pinch you need to swap to it to get that one shot off, you're going to have to dump some extra rounds first before you can proc super shot. That's just something to bear in mind. Aside from the Lucky Pants, Radiant Dance Machines or 6 Coyote are great, just boosting your dodge and just being able to like avoid dying, just dodging like a madman. This is the only hand cannon where I don't suggest using Dragon Shadow, and I'll show you why. So as you can see here, I've got the ×7 Paracausal Charge buff up, and if I swap weapons and swap back, I still have that charge, I don't lose that. But with the Dragon Shadow, if I swap weapons and I'm doing my thing and then dodge, as that reloads all my weapons and I switch back to the Hawkmoon, I lose my Paracausal stack. So do not rock Dragon Shadow with the Hawkmoon unless you are totally just on keeping track of what buffs you have, how many stacks of Paracausal Charge you have, and when not to use your dodge. So again, outside of the Dragon Shadow, other things I would suggest actually using is anything that boosts your other abilities, so like the Young Ahankara Spine that boosts your trip mine, or even the Arthur's Embrace. Now normally I suggest using a pulse rifle or something with this, as I've expressed in my other videos. As with a hand cannon, you have to fire at max fire rate, hitting all headshots. So you can make it work, but with most hand cannons it's too inconsistent, and you just don't get like the full use of it. But the Hawkmoon is so easy to hit headshots with that you can actually make this work really well. So the Arthur's Embrace is a great shout. Outside of 180 hand cannons, Hawkmoon is the only other hand cannon that I'll actually pair the Arthur's Embrace with. Now for the Titan, I definitely recommend rocking the Bottom Tree Striker. This is purely for this frontal assault buff that you get, so striking an enemy with your melee ability, but it doesn't have to be a kill. Reload your weapon and increases your weapon stability and weapon damage. So again, this can be a double-edged sword. You open up the engagement with this is great because that makes it so the Hawkmoon is even more consistent, the stability is huge, and you do an extra damage, so it makes it so you don't even have to get those 3 headshots. It can be 2 head and 1 body, and you'll still get 3 stacks of power calls of charge there, because you'll be getting a kill with the last shot. But if you've got several stacks of power calls of charge already, you hit someone and it reloads your weapon, you will lose those stacks, so just be wary of this. Another great option if you're rocking a special weapon is obviously middle tree. You can slide over ammo and get that free damage buff. Then obviously bottom tree solar as well for those sunspots and getting the free damage boost and stuff then as well. Now in terms of exotics, Titans don't have anything that boosts the Hawkmoon in particular or boosts hand cannons in particular, so it's more or less just free game. I like using things like Path of Burning Steps if I'm rocking like a fusion or something that's doing solar damage in my secondary slot. This is also still fantastic to use just because of how many Revenant Hunters there are. You are rocking bottom tree solar, Phoenix Cradle is probably your best bet. Absolutely fantastic exotic. Other than that, like I said, fair game. Anything like Dune Marches, Art of Inmost Light, even the new No Backup Plans, it's all fair game. Just entirely depends on how you want to play. But one thing I will suggest trying with the Titan is trying the Rally Barricade. This has had a huge buff going into the current season. So you create a small barricade that you can peek over, but whilst aiming down sights, it increases your weapon reload speed, stability and range. So these are all things that are going to make the Hawkmoon or any hand cannon even more ridiculous. And obviously those stability and range buffs that you get from the Rally Barricade stack with the Catalyst of the Hawkmoon as well, so you can just be ridiculously accurate, and you have the benefit of being behind a barricade that you can peek over, so it's great for peek shooting and just having cover with you wherever you are, so you don't have to play necessarily right next to the cover that the map provides. Now if we take a quick look at the Warlock, again much like the Titan, there's nothing that the Warlock has that boosts the Hawkmoon like in particular, or even hand cannons in particular. But there's a few really interesting builds that you can come up with and some lethal support builds that you can create as well. So first of all, my favourite build to rock this season as the Warlock, and I have a friend that I play with all the time who mains this now, is actually Well of Radiance. So this got a buff in the current season to the stage where stasis completely unaffects you when you are in this well now, and the amount of health that you have is ridiculous. So you can survive Dawnblades whilst in this rift. Behemoths and Shatter Dives and Revenant Hunters can't do anything to you, can't freeze you at all or do any damage to you whilst you're in this. And obviously, as well as having ridiculous health, you do extra damage whilst you're in this rift as well. I definitely recommend taking this for a spin. You are into your support builds, this is by far the best one. If you rock it with the healing grenades, you can heal your teammates and heal yourself, as long as you have a grenade as well. So that frees up your rift, so you can rock the empowering rift. That's another damage buff that you can get. So I rock this with the boots of the assembler. This makes it so you create little noble seekers, and depending on the type of rift you have, those noble seekers will either heal your teammates or give them a damage buff that they can walk around with for 5 seconds. So this is awesome, and this works in the Well of Radiance as well. And all those damage buffs allow you to 2 head and 1 body with Hawkmoon. Another fantastic option just for your neutral game is the Lunafaction boots. So your rifts gain additional ability to increase your weapon reload speeds, and also the empowering rift makes it so not only does it give you the extra damage, but increases your weapon's range. So that stacks with the paracausal charge, so you can just absolutely map people and be doing full damage. Aside from that, Starfire Protocol can be great. You get 2 fusion grenades, so especially if you're rocking that middle tree, Well of Radiance, that gives you a healing grenade as well as just a normal fusion grenade, or even 2 healing grenades if you need them. Obviously, Iphidian Aspect is great for just boosting your neutral game with your weapons. That improves your weapon ready speed, reload, and your melee range. Now another one that's sort of under the radar is the Nothing Manacles. So this gives you 2 charges for your scatter grenades. Increases the damage slightly and how well they seek. This was bugged last season, but I believe now they work the way they're intended to. But the way that I like to use them anyway, even the way I was using them last season, is with the Devour tree. So again, it just gives you 2 charges for your grenades, so you can either proc Devour twice as often, or the thing that I loved is being able to proc Devour and also still have a grenade that you can use to weaken opponents or for cleanups or whatever. Another thing to note for the Warlock is that the Transversive steps are not recommended when using the Hawkmoon. As well as it buffing your sprint, it obviously reloads your weapons as you're sprinting. And much like the Dragon Shadow for the Hunter, it will actually make you lose your stacks of paracausal charge by auto-reloading your weapon. So anything across all 3 classes that auto-reloads for you, you want to avoid. So now as the video is coming to an end, this is footage of a Wii run that I got in Iron Banner using the Hawkmoon with the plug 1. But I just want you to pay attention to the opening clip where I start off with a 1 shot on somebody, get just constant 3 taps on people and build up another shot, which I use on a 2nd guy. And then after that I chain up enough headshots again to then 1 shot a 3rd guy. And I actually dump the rounds beforehand knowing that he's going to rush me with a shotgun. It's just ridiculous, like, it happens so often. And like I said, this ended up being a Wii run as well. I ended up proccing the super bullets so many times during this match, it was insane. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video, hopefully you've learned something. If you've not got the Hawkmoon, I definitely recommend going after it. Definitely finish the Catalyst if you haven't done so already. If you have got this weapon but haven't really tried it, take this baby for a spin. Or if you've not got this role, I highly recommend finding it out because it's just ridiculous. I know I've said it a million times, but I can't stress it enough. I find that this is the most consistent hand cannon in the game and the easiest to use. So if you're new to hand cannons and wanting to get better with them, I definitely recommend taking this for a spin. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. Feel free to subscribe, check out some of my other content. I deep dive into loads of different weapons and builds and stuff, so I can guarantee there'll be something that vibes with you. I also now stream on YouTube, so if you are subscribed you'll be notified whenever I'm live. Feel free to drop on by, say hi, and just hang out. We always have a great time, and I pull people in from my chat all the time to play in the Crucible and whatnot, so hopefully I'll see you there. Until next time, my friends, stay safe, stay positive, and I shall see you all very soon indeed. Bye-bye.
Zone advantage is yours. Sorry,